Okay, so we're checking out the jumper T-Lite now in a version 2. So I've been playing around with this for a couple weeks here. This is the 4-in-1 version, not the Express LRS version that's not out yet. I will be getting that in a couple weeks. They're still working out some of the details on that model. I'm not exactly sure why, but I will have a video on that one later, so make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss that one. But yeah, I'm back to using this guy as my daily driver. As you guys know, my Zorro is kaput. It's not working. They did send me a new main board. I have not had time to take the radio apart again and fix it and reassemble it. That will take a few hours, which I don't have a lot of time right now because I got so many other videos to do. But anyway, that's my problem, not your problem. This is the 4-in-1 version of the T-Lite version 2. There's a couple things that are different about this model, and pretty much everything else is the same. So they basically fixed the power issues in this model that were plaguing the first version, and I'm not going to get into all the details of that. You can watch those videos that explains what was wrong with the power system on this guy. I'll link those videos in the video description, but essentially those are for the most part fixed. The root of the problem was the 1S battery and trying to power these external modules, and I burned out my board on that version 1 because I was trying to do crossfire at 1 watt, and I think I burned out a component, some sort of regulator on the main board. So I had to do a power bypass and all that. So anyway, you can watch those videos if you want to know all the details, but now you don't need to do that. However, be aware that while they did upgrade the power system, it's only supported up to 500 milliwatts. So they said they only tested their own module here. This is their Express LRS Nano module here, and it's, as you see, I have it set to 500 milliwatts constant power. And I've been using this pretty much at full power the whole time for the last couple weeks, and no issues, no fail safes. Radio has been fine, working great. Of course, this module does not go up to 1 watt, and if you're wondering if 1 watt is supported, they told me that it is not. They did not test Crossfire. They're not planning to support Crossfire on this, and basically, yeah, if you're one of those Crossfire people, you're going to probably have to get like a Zorro or some other radio that supports 1 watt. This one still does not do that. So unfortunately, if you're looking for that, this is not going to cover you there. The other thing that is a little bit different here is when you put the adapter board on here on the back for the Nano module, there's a plug that it used to be that on the inside of the radio, you'd have to take it apart to attach the plug. You don't have to do that now. It's actually exposed, but it does make the adapter board kind of stick out a little bit, as you can see there. And also you can see the wires are a little bit too long. So if you want to get rid of those wires, you'll have to desolder the wires from the adapter board and shorten them and then resolder them. It shouldn't be that difficult to do, but yeah, it's a little bit annoying that they're a little bit too long there. At 500 milliwatts full power all the time, it does drain the battery fairly quickly. As you can see, I'm already down to 3.7 volts. I don't know how many flights I've had on this one since I last charged it. Maybe 20 flights, about 5 minutes each, something like that. So, the battery life, even though I'm using a pretty big 18650 1S there, you're still draining a lot of power, even because you only have basically one battery, one cell. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. In fact, they haven't even bothered to update the radio firmware or the multi-module firmware. So I went ahead and did that. So I have the latest EdgeTX 2.71 on here, and also updated my multi-module to the latest versions. Pretty easy to do. I mean, obviously this radio is supported under EdgeTX and the latest EdgeTX, and also the multi-modules, so not a big deal. Pretty easy to do. If you want to see a video on that, let me know. I always ask that in all my radio videos, and I usually get like maybe 5-10 people like, oh, I want to see a tutorial. And if it's gonna be like that, then I'm not gonna make a tutorial. So this just takes too much time, and I need to have a lot more than 10 people watching the video for me to make a video. So that's about it in terms of the differences here. The gimbals feel the same in terms of the smoothness. The springs here, obviously because this is a new radio now, do feel a bit stiffer compared to my radio that I used for about 6 or 8 months. These little switch covers here are not included. These are ones I added from a previous video, so I'll link that as well in the video description. And other than that, it's pretty much the same. You'll have to do your own firmware updates because it is running the old firmware from like a year ago on the radio firmware and the multi-module firmware. But those are pretty easy to do. You just have to install the little adapter board here in the back for the nano module, and you can have 500 milliwatts Express LRS here as an external module, as well as the 4-in-1 internal module. This is the setup that I prefer, and I actually prefer 500 milliwatts over the internal 250 milliwatts on a lot of radios, including the Zorro. In fact, I actually prefer using the Zorro that has a 4-in-1 and then external 500 milliwatt modules. So it kind of really depends on what you're looking for. A lot of people say 250 milliwatts is enough. Some people say 500 milliwatts is not enough and you need 1 watt. So it really kind of depends on the person you are. I think for the majority of people, 250 milliwatts is probably going to be good enough. I tend to sometimes fly a little bit further away, so I do like to have the having the 500 watts available to me if I want it, but I don't fly so far away that I need the 1 watt of power. So again, that's my specific situation. Yours might be a little bit different, but yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. Other than they fix the power issues so they can handle the 500 milliwatts external module on at least this 4-in-1. I don't know what the power level on the Express LRS internal version of this. So there's a V2 of this with Express LRS internally, which the version 1 obviously never had. So there's a lot of things I don't know about that yet. I imagine it's probably going to also be limited to 250 milliwatts because when you get above 250 milliwatts, the heat buildup inside and the components, etc., can cause packet loss and also potential fail-safe problems, which is why I think a lot of manufacturers don't do that now. They usually want to go with an external module, some kind of fan, when you go with 500 milliwatts or above. Now this one has a big heatsink here, so at 500 milliwatts, it's pretty warm. Yeah, like I don't want to hold my fingers on here, but it doesn't seem like it's overheating because it's got a nice big heatsink. But you have to put all that internally in this here is going to be kind of difficult. So I'm pretty sure that the Express LRS T-Lite V2, which I'll have a video on in a couple weeks, is probably going to be 250 milliwatts max power, which is going to be fine if you just fly mainly Express LRS and you want this nice small form factor. That should cover you. I think the Beta FPV Lite Radio 3 Pro is also limited to 250 milliwatts as well. So again, a lot of radios are limiting them to 250 milliwatts because of the power draw issues in terms of the battery and also the heat dissipation and the issues that can cause. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Check it out. Linked in the video description. I'll have another video on the Express LRS internal version of this radio in a week or two, whenever I get that. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.